that. And so I'm so excited for this first episode of the month to be entitled Dear Mama, right? Uh, y'all stay tuned because we got some stuff that's coming up we're going to be announcing as well. So just make sure y'all stay tuned, catch the vibe, you know, get these comments active and let's get it. Let's go. All right. I do want to start this show off by saying, being that it is Mother's Day month as well, um, for us as a human race in general, for us as a human race as in general, there is nothing that we can accomplish if we don't acknowledge the fact that our mothers made the ultimate sacrifice and the choice to have us to be in existence. I appreciate each and every individual mother, those that are learning how to be mothers, those that figured out some things already, um, the more experienced ones, and the ones that's like kind of in the middle, in between. Because all of you hold an intricate part to our being as a whole. All right, just want y'all to know that I appreciate y'all, I love y'all, and hey, don't nobody else tell you, you got love that's really, really coming from a place that's genuine. All right. But tonight also, man, look, I don't know why my light tried to go off on me, but it tried. But um tonight we got two special people that's gonna be here in the box with us and we're gonna have this discussion, basically just dealing with motherhood uh in general, right? And some people have great experiences with their mothers and others don't. that's that's just the fact of the matter, you know what I mean? And for those that don't have great experiences, maybe this episode can help you to try to get a better grasp of, like, a different view of what they actually deal with, and how it's not the easiest thing to be a mother, right? But if my guests would, um, please request the box. Please request the box so that we can greatly appreciate the jet. Yeah, greatly appreciate it. All right, we got one. We have one. That is my sister. Hey, the one and
Hello.
only Legs Nikki 24/7 105. She's here. She's ready to talk. She's ready to talk. 'Cause that's what my sister do, y'all. My sister talks like
Yes,
she
she
does
does.
that.
Ugh,
Yeah,
so brave.
yeah. And the one and the only, the general is in the building. He don't even know I gave him that nickname, but he is the general. Is respectfully solid, y'all.
What's
Respectfully
going
solid is
on,
in the
Wick?
building tonight. Appreciate you for
Hey,
pulling up on us, bro.
I
Appreciate you for pulling
appreciate you
up.
for having me, bro. 100.
Absolutely. Look, before we really, really get into it, let me tell you, bro. Hey, you've been hiding out. You've been hiding out on some talents and some skills and some things. And I said, wait till he get in this box. I'm gonna let him know that you can't keep that from everybody, man. You can't do that, bro. It was amazing though, bro. Real talk, real talk. It
Thank you,
was really
thank you.
amazing. Absolutely. But
Hey,
y'all, welcome
Nikki.
again. Welcome again to Family Ties, man, where we're going to have this discussion. We're going to continue this journey to be better family members, both on and off the app,
That part.
and even for yourself, you know what I mean? Be better for yourself in general, you know what I'm saying? Um, but our general topic tonight is Dear Mama, right?
Mm.
Dear Mama. So I'm going to start the questions off with a very, very touching question. And the question is, what is your relationship with your mother?
Mm.
What is that like?
Well, um, my mother was actually called home
Hmm.
in 2008. But now, prior to that, and still, because it's still the same, prior
Hmm.
to that, my mother was the poster mom. You know what I'm saying? She was definitely, she was everything. I'm the baby 2 out of 4. You know what I'm saying? So you can only
I feel
imagine,
you.
you know how it is. I was her baby. She, my mother was everything. The relationship was epic. You know what I mean? And it still is. I still this. My mother's the reason why the elephant is all over. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
she was totally in love with elephants. She had so many of them. It was easy to shop for her for any occasions. Just get her a new elephant she ain't got. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Right.
Like now, like that's my spirit animal, and that's who I rock with. Like all because of my mom. 100.
Dope. That's dope, man. Yeah, and our condolences on that, man, as well. Because no matter how long it is, I know it's still got to be tough at times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, it
But
is. And there was a
yeah.
time where I couldn't talk about her without crying, and
Hmm.
now it's I still cry, but it's more of just the joy of being able to experience the kind of mom she was. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? And it's just
Absolutely.
it's beautiful because I know today she's complete. If she loved the crazy me. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
the new me,
Yeah.
I know she's just smiling and tap dancing about it.
Right, right, exactly. And I love the fact that you said that y'all relationship still is, even though he's not physically with us. You know what I'm saying? Because I've listened to people sometimes that's in the same boat, and it's like they feel like the relationship changed just because she's no longer physically with us. You know what I'm saying? But once you have a really, really well established relationship with like any parent, you know what I mean? But especially mama, you know what I'm saying? Once that relationship is there, it's there for life. You know what I mean? And it don't change on you. Like you said, she loved the bad version. I know she loved this version. You know what I'm saying? That's dope, man.
Straight up, straight up.
Absolutely. So Nikki, how about yourself? How's relationship with mom and going forward?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm Nikki 24/7. I'm the host of Empower Through History here on the Tagged app. Starts at Monday at 11 p.m. It's such a pleasure to be here with two of the wisest men on the app. There are a few, and this is the top five that we got going on right here, for show. I am so incredibly fortunate to be here with you both, on your show, Wick, and Solid, supporting you whenever I can on your show, which is Solid Ground, 7 p.m. Sundays. In case you guys have not checked them out. Sorry to be giving everybody shout outs right here, but I just want to make sure the
Right.
folks know what we got going on this app, right? He also has,
Right.
you know, your turn to talk respectfully, right? Thursdays at 8. So it's a lot going on the app. I'm also a part of the Thirsty Lifestyle crew, streamer to streamer.
Right.
Thursdays
Right.
at 8 too. We're gonna come through and see Wick one of these days. We're gonna come through and see Solid as well. Okay. So now my relationship with my mother, I think it's a typical, well, I don't know if it's typical now, but when I was a teenager, it was a typical mother-daughter relationship, I think,
Right.
alienated and estranged. My mother is an immigrant, and she had a very different experience than me,
Hmm.
a non-immigrant. And she also had children young, and so it was a lot different. It was a lot of battling, and there still is
Right.
to this day, but
Right.
we are very close. um Despite, like, me, like, what I will say is we are close because I was persistent in that. Some people may have turned away, some people may have developed an animosity or a chip on their shoulder or some of those things, but I really was blessed with the gift to be able to have a little bit of empathy for people and see things from their perspective. And so we have a really good relationship. I have a very great relationship with both my parents. I talk to them
Hmm.
almost daily. um and even when she might curse me out, and I'm gonna keep it 100, I might curse her out too, but very respectfully. We gonna we gonna holler back at each other a
Right.
few years later.
Right. Right. And I felt it was like important to kind of like set that as like, the foundation of this conversation tonight, because sometimes people feel like just because you don't have what everybody else has, that it taints like even like how you move in life. You know what I'm saying? And for me, y'all know, hey, you're solid. You gonna find out. Just stick around. My mama is a piece. Yeah, she gonna
Right,
be on the show again. Yeah,
right.
but
Yep.
but definitely, man. Like my mom is like one of those mothers that she loves really, really hard. And so when it comes to us as her children, like she's definitely not gonna play any games with anybody. She ain't gonna play no games about her husband, but her kids, oh yeah, yeah, the big lioness, she will come out. But definitely, man. Um, so uh, let me let me kind of transition. Welcome to Family Ties, y'all. This is a family show where we're talking about, just becoming better family members for each other and ourselves, both on and off the app, man. And we just continuing this journey in this conversation where we can do exactly that. Uh, Next question I had for you guys, I wanted to ask y'all if it was a time that you had with your mother that really lingers like in your mind, and you really feel like without that moment you wouldn't be where you are today. If you have
Mm.
that moment, right, if you wouldn't mind sharing that with the people today.
Um, I would have to say there was many moments, and I would say it's probably the moments where I was doing things I shouldn't have been doing.
Right.
You know, and my mother was 4'11", but still 6'9". You hear what I'm saying? Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. And me personally, I've been this size. I'm her biggest child, so I've been this size since about the seventh grade. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
my mother would discipline me, but would wake me up after, because she'd discipline me, and I'm, crying, and I'm out. You know what I'm saying? You get that
Right,
good
right,
whooping, you
right,
going to sleep.
right.
Get that good whooping, you going to sleep, right? So
Absolutely.
it was like she would discipline me, but then she would double back on me, wake me up with a triple decker peanut butter and jelly sandwich or something.
Right,
You know what I
right,
mean? And have a seat with me and talk to me and explain to me where I went wrong and what she expected from me.
right.
So I guess, in today's world, that most definitely continues to linger with me because now I got more of conversation for my children. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
To where I
right.
don't have to physically discipline them. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Although sometimes when they was younger, they deserved it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But I just basically, I'm able to talk to my children and give them what my mother gave me.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
And that was that good, tender, loving care with a little butt whooping. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
that definitely
yeah.
sits with me and it resides and it keeps me. Even I whoop myself now. You know what I'm saying? Mentally. You know what I'm saying? I whoop
Yeah,
myself
yeah,
now mentally. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Tell myself like,
Exactly.
you know what? Get it together. You know what I mean? Because you
Right,
tripping. So yeah,
right.
that's what I would say.
Definitely, definitely. Nikki, how about you?
Yeah, I think what sits with me with my mom is not a super mushy person or a super affectionate person, but I think the unspoken lessons that I've learned from her backstory and her, sharing directly and indirectly who she was and how she had to grow up, I can have
Hmm.
I have immense like respect and compassion again and empathy because she had to endure a lot. So she's taught me like one of the things is just really strength. And
Hmm.
even though she's been, like again, my mom's a piece of work. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
That the tongue is like a razor. So she's a piece of work in
Right.
that regard. But she's shown me how to be an incredible wife. She's an incredible wife to my father.
Hmm.
And she's shown me the tough love aspect. Solid. I feel you on that. Like my mother, I don't think she's ever spanked anybody, but her mouth, woo, woo,
Mm.
woo. You didn't have to
Cut,
worry about it. Like that will
cut it
cut you
up.
down in the worst way that it could ever be possible. Um, and I do think so. She's also taught me to be uh, a better daughter, right? Because
Right.
I've had to live up to that, and I've had to be resilient, just like she is, and kind of force that love and the love that how I like to give it.
Right.
Um,
Right.
on her. So what stuck with me the most though is she does have stick to itiveness, right? Like her mind, like when
Yeah.
she's determined, she's given me that.
Yeah.
Whatever the determination is, for good or bad. She's a whole
Okay.
troll when she wants to be.
Yeah. 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 That's dope, man. I personally, man,
Oh, wait,
I
wait, wait. Can I just
appreciate.
say this part though?
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I would like to say that my mother did introduce me to Tupac. Yes, she was an immigrant from Jamaica. I don't know how she knew. My dad, who is really my stepdad, he was from the Bay Area though. I just want to put it out there. My parents are hella young. My mom is 64 and my dad is like 50. He and I said five
Mm,
something. So he in his 50s.
oh,
So
okay.
they little
Oh,
kids, all right. And I'm
okay.
45. They little kids.
See,
So we peers
see.
now.
Okay, okay. Shout out to
Semi
mama to
peers.
for putting you on to Pac. Like shout
Pop,
out to
right?
moms.
She put you
And
on for real.
everybody in this box already know that, if we got to say this right now just to clear the air. I'm sorry, I'm not taking over no airwaves. Um, but I need to know right now, is it Kendrick or Drake before the conversation continues?
K Dot is an MC,
That's what
Y-
that's
and he from the
exactly.
abs-
There you
West
go.
Coast.
Look, he's on the West
Absolutely.
Side.
And he
That's
from the
50
A-
years.
West Coast.
Cali all day. Okay, let me stop.
That
absolutely.
part.
Yeah. Mr. Vine, don't do that.
No, hey, no, no. But one more thing. One more thing. Drake does not represent us light skinned
CTO.
men. He does not represent us light skinned men. Please
Hey,
do not
I
take
I
that. 'Cause-
said that a long time ago because all light skinned men are not Drake. Okay.
And we not, and ain't no real man gonna be painting his nails.
Exactly. Hello, you coming back for the other episode I got on that. Anyway,
Let's
I'm
go.
sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I just had to know the
I'll be
temperature of
here.
the room. I had to get
I'll
the
yeah,
be
the,
temperature of
the
the room.
temperature of the room is nice. Yeah, so again, y'all, I appreciate y'all sharing those moments because that speaks to a mother's true influence on us, right?
Yeah.
And the one thing that I sadly in my observation of families both on and off the app, anybody that's fulfilling that motherly role oftentimes does not get acknowledged for her influence on the children. You know what I'm saying? Even though she is the first teacher, you know what I'm saying? She is the first nurturer, she is the very first one to do all of that. Shout out to my sister up in the building tonight too as well, Lyrical Blessing. I appreciate you for pulling up. But yeah, so we got to take time to acknowledge moms in that regard. You know what I'm saying? Because it's hard. Like literally, just watching, it's hard for me as a man now, understanding and going through the processes that moms went through with me alone. I'm not talking about the other siblings that she had to deal with. I'm talking about me alone. You know what I'm saying? And so if I could put that much pressure on her as one child, just imagine for the mothers that have two, three, four, five, six children. You know what I'm saying? These are things that we really need to bring to the forefront and really just give them their flowers, not just on Mother's Day, but every day that we get a chance to. You know what I'm saying? And so that's my little spiel on that. So gonna transition a little bit. Go transition a little bit. And we want to start talking about cross generational dialogues. Like how is it that as mothers, how is it that mothers actually dealt with you being in one generation? I don't know about y'all. My mom's was like the Marvin Gaye, Teddy Pendergrass, real R&B back in the day before they got too sexualized. And then I come up in an era where they like, hey. So how did mom go about having like these type of dialogues with you concerning like your generation versus her generation?
Mm. For my mom, I'm gonna keep it G. Like my mom's full Puerto Rican from the island.
Mm-hmm.
She moved to the United States probably way before I was born. But my mother, she took English classes, so she learned a lot as
Yeah.
far as speaking wise and how to communicate. But when it came to identifying like you know what we really had going on, my mother couldn't identify that. We moved to California when I was 8 years old. My mother
Mm,
didn't know how to identify the gang culture. You know what I'm
right.
saying? She didn't know why I had that red rag and that green rag. She didn't know that. So it was hard
Mm-hmm.
for her to really identify with that part of it. You know what I mean? Even my father from Cuba. You know what I'm saying? I was raised with both of
Right.
them, and my father's another one. He don't to today, my father don't care to speak English if it ain't about money. If it's conducting business, he know all that $4, $3. You know what I'm saying? He know that,
Right,
but
right, right, right.
he don't care to learn nothing else. So my father's 77 years old now. My mother, when my mother passed away, I was at the prime of my gangsterism. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm. Yeah.
I was fully knee deep into it. You know what I'm saying? I
Right,
was 25
right.
years old. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
My firstborn was just about to be born, so my mother could not identify any of that. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
She didn't know why I wore all those colors, and she didn't understand
right,
that. So only thing
right.
she just knew I was into the streets. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So it wasn't much that we could relate to on that end. You
Right,
know?
right. I got you. I got you, man. And let me ask you, man, for you being a young man, really needing like your mother and your father in those moments, man, like how did it make you feel like not being able to really have those conversations? Like because like you said, she couldn't identify those things that you were already engulfed in. You know what I'm saying? So how did it make you feel, you know, kind of understanding that she wasn't connected, but then at the same time, like, you know what I mean?
I mean, I gotta keep it funky, like for because I was so into what I was doing. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? It's not like I was, hoodwinked into it. Like I was brought up in a home that I didn't like. My first trauma in my life was losing my mama. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm.
hadn't been to funerals. Most of our family was all on the islands. I'm the first American born. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
all my losses came after my mom. So that's when really things hit because it
Mm.
worked in my advantage that my mama didn't know what was going on.
Mm.
You know
Mm.
what I'm saying?
Okay. Right,
It
right,
worked to my advantage, so I thought. you know,
right,
so I
right,
thought it worked in my advantage. But my mama was, I look, I gotta be completely real, and I got a lot to do with my mom's health issues because it wasn't just me. Out of her four, her two
mm-hmm.
youngest was in and out of jail. You know
Right,
what I'm
right,
saying? We was in and out of prison since we was both young. It came to
right.
a time where she had to figure out who she was gonna visit. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? We was both locked up, and my mama would
Right,
be there. You know what I'm saying? She was
right,
one of
right,
them. You know what I mean? My mama would take the rent money and put us on a bus or wherever if we was trying to get away from something we did.
right,
You know what I mean?
right,
So she was all about us. She didn't condone nothing we did, but she was our connection to God. You know what I mean?
right.
She's the whole reason why I'm still here and even talking to y'all because the things that she did put into me, you
Facts.
know, when time came, I started to identify with these things.
Right, right,
So the language barrier, the communication part, it was working in my advantage at that time.
right, right. Let's go. Okay.
Mm.
Nikki, how about yourself? Like, how did mom go about, having like those cross generational conversations with you, like, or even if she was able to have them, you know what I mean? Like, that's
Yeah. So growing up, my mother was unable to have those cross generational, and I think it was actually like cross cultural, actually, right? My
mm-hmm.
mom is Jamaican, and she attended some high school here, but then she went straight into the military, and she didn't really, I don't think she really understood like American culture. She kind of
Right,
isolated herself away from that, and it's really, I mean, honestly, it's not until recently that she even began to take an interest in learning about African American history and the history of that. And I'm a
right.
history teacher, y'all, so we're not even gonna talk about that. But like that's my whole thing that I did. But at the end of the day, like we didn't have that. But my mother is also relatively young, so
Right.
she understood what was going on. And
Mm-hmm.
she definitely adapted in her American ways and those type of things really well. But she
Mm-hmm.
had this other Jamaican cultural type of thing that put us at odds. And the more and more that I went on to like study, Black history here in the Americas, it definitely put us at odds because in many ways, I did not necessarily identify as Jamaican.
Hmm.
Right,
like,
right.
in the way that she did. Even though I
Mm,
know that I know that my mom and my actual biological father are Jamaican, but it was just this odds, right? It was weird. So, as I got older, we're contesting with these type of things, and some cultural things that people may or may not be able to identify in like West Indian culture, where you're
right,
told
right.
that you're different than Black people in the United States. Like we were that type of thing kind of existed for us.
Yeah.
But as we got older, and she grew and I grew, we became really, really, really close.
Mm.
Like me and my
Mm-hmm.
mom are really close, and it's amazing. Like I don't know how my parents did it because they were young. My mother had me when she was 18, and 2 years later, she had another son, another child. And when
Mm-hmm.
she got with my stepdad, and I was about 9 years old, this would be my second stepdad. She'd been divorced already, and she
Right.
married again. And so, listen, he was 21, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So you got a 27-year-old and a 21-year-old with two kids. At the
Right.
time, I never put it together, but my dad had all the latest video games, computer. Like now it makes sense. I'm like, this fool was
Right.
21
Right.
years old. Of course he had the
Yeah.
freshest sneakers, and of course he had the freshest car, and of course we had all the technology. Like it makes sense. I had young parents who was like, "Oh,
Right.
you got
Right.
the guess on, you got the polo." Like it all makes
Mm-hmm.
sense now, but it
Right.
was
Right.
so amazing because I had actually had young parents, and
Yeah.
they were dope as hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like dope
That's
dope.
that's that's what's up right there. For real, for real. And I love this particular topic. Because it really speaks to a dynamic, and like you was just talking about, Nikki, you have like basically a 21-year-old dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like for her to be, her age at the time, it's like, how did y'all even work that out between y'all? You know what I'm saying?
So
But
let me
that
tell
to
you
work
this. I
out
know you
and
have
bring up
another
the hit.
episode next month, but
Mm-hmm.
for Father's Day, right? Like I know you got these things. But let me just tell you this. My dad, who is my stepdad, mind you, I have two stepdads and a real dad. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Neither
Right.
one of those men, my two stepdads, ever called me their stepdaughter. Not a one time did it come out their mouth. They never introduced me like he's 21. So when I hear people say this can't be done and all this other stuff, I'm like, maybe not the average, or maybe
Right.
below the average can't do it. But the average man, because he's a good man, he's an average man, or he's an extraordinary man, however you want to categorize him. And
Right.
my
Right.
mother had two kids, not his. He never did that. He never
Right.
did that. I was always his daughter.
Daughter. Yeah.
Um,
That.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that.
was it?
Because at the end of the day, that's really how it should. I mean, if you're gonna be a part of something that's already established, you can't come in with the vision. You see what I'm saying? You can't come in with, oh, them your kids. Them ain't none of mine.
No.
Why would you want to even be a part of that? You know what I'm saying? If you're coming in with a mindset already that says it's yours and then it's mine. You know what I mean? That's just not, it's not healthy. You know what I mean?
Most definitely.
Um, I'm gonna get back to something. I'm gonna circle back to something real quick, right? So we talked about the mother's influence, right? And we talked about how she impacted, even like how we mold where we are today, right? But I really want to talk about the spiritual part of the maternal bond
Hmm.
between the mother and her child. I really want to dive into that because I believe it's a component in conversation that we don't have and we need to, because we leave out the possibility or even the reality of us not just being physical beings, but also our spirituality, right? So I'm gonna ask you, Nikki, I'm gonna ask you to on this one first. Do you do you feel your mother spiritually at times, and then you recognize that it's her versus like, okay, this is just something weird. You know, have you ever been in a place or a situation where you literally have felt your mother and her influence in that maternal bond on a spiritual basis.
Yeah, no, I don't think I have, but I would have to sit on that. Like it was a very, I knew you were going with that question. Have I felt my mother? Um, I don't think so. Right? My mother
Yeah.
is still alive. Um, Now maybe we've had uncanny, times when we've thought about each other at the same time or something like that, or, I've been worried about her, but I don't know if I've necessarily my first mind would just say no, I don't recall that. But I'm a mother. I have 4 children, and I like
Mhm.
to think that I feel my children when they need something or they want something or anything like that, right? So I don't have
Mhm.
doubt in my mind that my mother has done that and been there, even though I may not have felt it or known it.
Okay.
Um, because I can see how she reacts with my other siblings. She has 4 children as well. And so
Mhm.
she gets that instinct. So actually, I may not have felt it, but my mother definitely has called in the middle of the night or definitely has called when some things are wrong. I may not have felt it or recognized it. So
Right.
I guess I have to say that clearly. I may not have felt it, but I know that
Right.
she has because she definitely has been there in moments of like, well, why are you calling me or checking on her? You know what I'm saying? Or when I'm
Mhm.
feeling whatever, she
Right.
definitely has felt something.
Okay.
She
Yeah.
definitely has. And as a mother, I have felt it, but I don't, she's still alive. So I don't think
Mhm.
I don't, like she's
So
always.
I'm gonna ask you as a follow up real quick, and then I'm coming right to you, solid. As a follow up, when you felt that for your children,
Mhm.
what kind of sensation actually, did you feel to let you know that this is about my kids? This is not about nobody else, but this is about my kids.
So, me speaking as a mother, I
Hmm.
didn't have this before I was a mother. It's always a psychological life. Every day is a stressor for you when you
Hmm.
have children. Every day
Right.
you think, and this is morbid, and I'm so sorry. Maybe other people don't think about it, but for me, you do think about death, and you think about what harm your children could come in every
Hmm.
single day. And it used to stress me out. And then when I added more kids to the mix, it really started to stress me out until you learn how to keep it quiet behind your mind. So there's something inside of you when you recognize that something is wrong with them or you feel that you have to call her. I can't even explain it, but it's an inner sense. I
Right.
can't even,
Right.
it's not as though you hear a voice or you do something, but you are compelled to do something or whatever you need to do. It takes over your body and you do
Right.
the thing. Like that's
Right.
just what it is.
Okay. Okay. Solid. I ask you, brother, have you ever had a moment where you felt mom, like, and you knew it was mom? You know what I mean?
This one is deep. This one is deep because my mother's connection to 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 God was serious. When I tell you she didn't enforce religion on us or nothing like that, right?
Hmm.
So when I tell you my mother took on the duty of praying for my entire family,
Yeah.
that's what she did. And when I was stuck in the hole in prison, right? I was stuck in
Hmm.
solitary confinement for about 20 months.
Mm,
In the beginning of that process, the reason why I was back there was very sinister. You know what I mean? And
Right.
I just knew that at that moment, I kind of knew that it was time to just like change my life. Because although I wanted to come home and be a better father and all those things, I had never considered, just like saying, you know what, I ain't even finna gang bang no more. But at that moment, it was like, you know, that was the moment. So on this particular day, I prayed, and I hadn't prayed in so long.
mm,
I'm talking about
Mm.
it's been a long time, and I prayed really hard for about an hour. And
Hmm.
it's gonna sound crazy, but I was reading an urban novel, and in the middle of the urban novel, um, there was the person was describing how they felt at this funeral that they was at. And when
Right.
I tell you word for word, it was exactly how I felt at my mom's funeral.
mm.
Wick, I'm talking about word for word how I felt, to where
Wow.
my body turned, it turned cold. When my
Yeah.
body turned cold, Wick, my mother's voice came over in the cell.
Mm.
Hmm.
I know today that was God bringing
Right.
my
Right.
mother into that cell. And when I tell you, Wick, I fell to my knees and I was crying like a baby. I'm to my booger,
Yeah.
I'm to my snot, and I was on my
Yeah.
knees and I was like, mommy, 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 like a little boy, like a
Yeah.
little tiny baby. I'm like, mommy, mommy, what do I do? Because I had sent myself to solitary confinement to stab another inmate
Mm.
that was back there. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And you talking about
Yeah.
I got 2 years left. No, I had 3 years left on a sentence,
Mm.
and I'm in federal prison. And I'm sending myself back there all to just protect my name, all because he had my name in his mouth. And this was a person who was a lot less experienced,
Mm-hmm.
so he wouldn't have made it with me inside of a cage. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I'd have probably threw my life away at that moment.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I kind of knew
Yeah.
it. And every time I would go out to the rec yard to try to
Mm-hmm.
get in the cage with him, they would deny me. Someone had told the police what I went back there for. So, they
Mm.
was either looking out for me or looking out for him.
Mm.
Either way it go, we both ended up winning. And
Yeah.
when my mother's voice came over in that cell, bro, like I'm talking about, it was loud and it was
Yeah.
clear. And she was talking to me in Spanish, and she was like, she called me her fat boy, and she was like, fat boy, you gotta leave them people alone. And I
Mm.
knew what she meant by that was to leave the gang alone. She was like,
Right.
you gotta
Right.
leave them people alone, man. The kids need you. And I'm like,
Yeah.
mom, it been you this whole time protecting me, huh? And she was like, yes, it's been me this
Mm.
whole time. Because when I tell you I done beat cases that I should have had on me, like, I
Right.
mean,
Right.
police on me, and in every moment that I got that quick, like over here, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
When as I'm getting cuffed, knowing that they ain't gonna find what I had on me, first person to come to my mind was my mama every time. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about
Yeah.
very close calls to where I was supposed to be gone. I ain't even supposed to be here talking to y'all. So that
Yeah.
right there is when I got saved, because this whole time it was just like my mom, my mom, my mom, that spirituality
Yeah.
between me and my mom. But when I got saved and I surrendered, everything made sense.
Right. Right.
Everything came back and started making sense. Thanks, mommy. Facts. Facts.
Exactly. Exactly. Hey, y'all. Welcome again to Family Ties, yo. We in a deep portion of this conversation, and hey, if y'all up in here and y'all listening, man, hey, I just hope y'all take these nuggets, these jewels that they dropping, and just sharing in their experiences with mom, and how much she really means, how important she actually is, not the fictitious version, the Mother's Day version, you know what I'm saying? But the real mom, the everyday mom, you know what I mean, that has to deal with things, and she does it with grace, you know. Um, I'm grateful and appreciative for my two guests here, Nikki, 24/7, and Mr. Respectfully Solid. He has been absolutely solid since I met him. So, absolutely, man.
Vice
But
versa, mommy.
yeah, so I want to dive into my next question, man, because that was a heavy one for real. And I really want to ask you, because we're still dealing with the maternal bond, right? Still dealing with the maternal bonds, and you know, how do we actually show our mother, what I mean, that we appreciate the sacrifice and the relationship that they established with us. How do we go about showing that, or actually just demonstrating it to the world that we appreciate what they did for us?
You know, well, I have to say that um, when my mother was around, I'll
Mm.
start there. My mother was still here with us. I had came home from prison one of them times, and my mother had her leg amputated while I was gone.
Mm.
Right, so um, as the baby, I came back home to mom's, um, and my mama couldn't like. It wasn't no putting her in a wheelchair. I'm a big boy. Mama, come on. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know I made sure she had everything she needed. Like I put everything on hold. I made sure that I cooked for my mom her new diet. I ate just like she did, so it wouldn't feel any different.
mm-hmm.
I just made sure I was there for my mother as much as I could be.
Right,
Because it was
right,
it was a real rough time for all of us, all my siblings. But
right,
my brother was still gone, and I was the only one that actually, you know, was available to make sure my mother was good. You know what I mean? Her husband was working all the time, so whenever he was
right,
at work, it's me. You know what I mean?
right,
My life was on hold to make sure she had everything she needed. So that's one of the ways. And then also, in today's world, I think just the same love and compassion that I show my kids, you know what I mean, is what she showed me. You know what I mean? So I carry that
right,
on now, and
right,
and and I just know that she's proud. So I look forward to like making her even more proud. You know what I'm saying?
right,
To just
right.
continue pushing on the path that I'm at. You know what I'm saying? There's no way. I know she's totally excited about me. Turning my life over to the Lord. You know
Right,
what I'm
right,
saying? So
right.
that right there, that's just how I show it. I show it right there by my actions
Absolutely,
today.
absolutely, absolutely. I greatly appreciate that, man. For real, for real. Nikki, how about you? How do we go about, just demonstrating to the world that we appreciate, mom, her sacrifice, and even the relationship that she chose to build, with us as individuals.
Yeah, so I think there's like kind of two parts here. So as children, right, to our mothers, we would hope that, like Solid said, we in our actions, I think that's what I
Mm-hmm.
tried to do throughout my life is really kind of just show, my mom, the best I could because I'm still full of contradictions and all of those things. I'm human. That I respect your decision making process and I respect you and I'm always gonna, be there for you, even when you're going through your ish and it's affecting me and it's not what I want to hear, but I'm still gonna be there. I'm not gonna shine your own ish back at you. Like that's one of the things that in like a lot of times when we get older, we like to look back at our parents and say, what about your stuff and this and that, and like you traumatized me and did X, Y, and Z, in which perhaps, right? But we also have to
Right,
be
right.
adults too and work it out a different way rather than stirring back up the trauma and then serving it back to them. I don't think that that's the
Exactly.
actual answer there. So I definitely think like through action. And another way that I think we live in a world where people don't really realize how hard just even giving childbirth is. I don't
Right.
think that people understand that women, even though it's like, oh, it's natural, that's what you guys do. Well, I guess we have to do it, right? There's no other scientific way right now. But it's not really studied the psychological and physiological toll that motherhood
Right.
takes on women. And we live in a
Right.
society where there's no downtime for it. It's not valued. You get 6 weeks
Mm-hmm.
off of work. That's not even time for your
Right.
body to heal, let alone your mind and your spirit
Right.
from birthing another
Right.
human. So I think that we as people could be more considerate to the needs of mothers and or women, but mothers in particular,
Right.
because you go through the child getting your body ready to give birth is a lot. Not even having a child, and you got to go through that for 50 years, right? 60 years
Yeah.
sometimes, and then you go through the process of having a child and then your body has to adjust to that, and then there's the process of not being able to have a child. Your whole
Yeah.
life as a woman centers around childbirth, whether or not you
Yeah.
can or you cannot do it, and centers around motherhood biologically. For some people, even if you actually can't biologically have kids, you still go through these phases and these physiological things. So I don't think that we recognize that. And so as a 45-year-old woman going through the multiple stages, and I don't know if I'm turning a leaf and going through the next stage, y'all, I have zero clue. But it's some hormone popping, jumping things happening in my life. And so I just want to say, I want people to be more aware of that as
Right.
mothers. So if you see a mother standing on a bus and you've been working all day, I feel you. I do feel you. But we need some chivalry to come back, or whatever y'all want
Yeah.
to call that.
Yeah.
We need some of that
Yeah.
part. Human being, men, women, whatever. Get up and give your seat to the pregnant woman on the bus. Open the door for her. Say hello.
Listen.
Do all those things.
Firm believer in that.
Petition and
Uh,
lobby for wait, petition and lobby. You may not believe that it works, but if it don't work, it ain't no slack off your back. Petition and lobby that your congresspersons and all those people put in legislation so that people can have time paid work off. It's actually mandated and governed by the federal government, that type of thing,
right.
because
Right.
it
Yeah.
matters.
So, hey, hey, that's a real one right
Sorry.
there. You know what I'm saying? No, that's a real one. Like real talk. Like a lot of people don't consider mothers in the way that they should, right? And for me personally, if I'm on a bus, I don't know why I would be on a bus because I have a car. But if I'm on a bus and I see a pregnant lady standing up and it's a boy or a male of any stature, I don't care if you work 20 hours, bruh. Give up your seat for her. That's
Right.
just common sense. You know what I'm saying? It's common sense. Even if she wasn't coming from work, she's carrying a whole nother life form. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
That's
just
that's a that's a man. Listen, that's a full-time job.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. That is the job at this point. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that you brought that up because we as a society have come to a place, honestly, where men are not really looking out for women in that regard. And it makes me sick to my stomach. I'm gonna be honest. It makes me very sick to my stomach to know that we're actually in a place in society where you can't even look out for a pregnant lady
I mean,
or a
to be
lady
fair,
just in general.
though, like I think that once, like, it's been a long historical process. This isn't like a generation or two or anything like that. I think for a very
Hmm.
long time since we got midwives out of the actual people who birth it, and now you have doctors who birth children. I think that that's kind of where
Hmm.
that disconnect happens. So I don't want to say that it's like a generation or two, because it's been a
Yeah,
long time
yeah,
that we have
yeah.
just
And
disregarded
and
the actual sanctity of
and,
motherhood.
and I'm understanding that, but I'm still not gonna excuse men for being
Nope,
totally disregarding
not
of
at
a
all.
soon to be mother. I'm not
Not
gonna
at all.
I'm not going to excuse you, bro. You off. You need to go check yourself. Where are not your hormones? Where are your man stuff? Where is it at?
Cojones. Cojones.
where,
Let's say
where is it at?
cojones.
You know what I'm saying? But this is
Oh,
a issue
BBL
though.
Drizzy, BBL Drizzy. Okay, let me stop.
Yeah. but but yo,
Too
we are
many
we are really
BBL
winding
drizzles.
down. We are really winding down. This hour done went by kind of fast, y'all. Real talk. I'm like
Yeah.
shocked. Okay. But welcome again, y'all, to Family Ties. This is your boy Wick, man. This is this family show where we talk about, just have conversations about being better family members for each other, both on and off the app, man. And hopefully, man, through these discussions, man, somebody can pick up a jewel, a nugget, or anything that's just gonna help you to improve to be better, no matter where you at in life. You can be married, you can be divorced, it don't matter. We just want you to be better. That's it. That's all in
Mhm.
the discussion. Right? All right. So this last question I'm gonna ask y'all, then we're gonna get into this game that I do at the end of every show. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. So here it is. If there's one piece of advice that your mother gave you that you have to cement into the next generation, whether it be your biological children or somebody's in the neighborhood, right? What would be that one piece of advice that you would pass on to this next generation beyond us?
For me, um, it would be my mother told me to always tell a woman the truth. She told me flat
Mm-hmm.
out. And this was during the time where I was low key on some Playboy type ish, and my mother knew both of them. And she had a relationship with both of them. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? And she told me, she was
mm,
like, and she told me flat out, not, I don't, I would never do that again in today's world. I don't live like that. You know, all I need is
right,
one. But my mother told me, she said, you know what? If you want two women, she said, why don't you just tell them both? She said,
right,
tell them both and move into one house together. You know what I'm saying? You never know what women will go for as long as you tell them the truth.
see,
You know what I mean?
Ooh,
And my mama, when my mama told me that, I was like,
mm,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
She was like, just tell
yeah,
them the truth, flat out. And this was a woman that wouldn't accept that, was telling me that.
mm,
You know what I'm
mm,
saying? Because my mama wouldn't accept it. You know what I'm saying?
right,
But, you
exactly.
know, she's a woman and she knows better than I do. So, you know, of course it didn't work, but, you know what I mean? I learned to start telling the truth.
you was ahead of your time, okay? You was ahead of your time.
Yeah,
Polly is everywhere now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Moms was promoting Polly like a mug, and you like, wait a minute, hey, let me try this, cause mom said,
She told me flat out, she was like, just tell them both. Just be
yeah,
realistic. Y'all might be able to live in one roof together. You know what I'm saying? It's
hey,
just tell them. Don't lie. Don't hide it.
absolutely, absolutely. That's a good one though. That's a
When
good
I
one.
told him, it blew up though.
Yeah, but it's dope because
Polly
mom's the
was
one that said it
Right.
though.
Mom's was the one that said it. So I was like,
Yeah,
okay, them in my mind, it was like, okay, them two just ain't finna accept it. Like my mama wouldn't accept it. You know what I mean?
right, 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 right. All right, Nikki. So what's one piece of advice moms done gave you that you would have to stamp into the next generation?
yeah. I think that it's that stick to itiveness part, right? Like if you
Hmm.
start something, then you're gonna finish it. You're gonna finish it well, and you're gonna do your best, and you're gonna never, you're not going to give up for giving up's sake. I think that that's what I
Right.
would have to tell. There are times when the road is rough and the road is crazy, but if you actually
Yeah.
just really think about what is before you and what you got going on, how can you turn this around, especially considering the family or the legacy that you want to build. So I think that my mother doesn't speak in those terms, but the way that she has lived her life, that is the
Right.
message and the advice that she has given me. Um,
That's
be there for
dope.
the next generation, pave the way for them, and make it a nice, smooth road as much as possible.
Yeah, that's dope. My
Shout out
mom's
to
just say,
mums.
yeah, yeah, definitely shout out.
Shout out to
But
mums.
right. My mom's definitely is a proponent of like the statement that you will hear at the end of this show. And that is be the true and authentic version of yourself at all times. Because when it's time for you to show up, if you're not being you, who will be you when you're needed the most?
Mm.
That's my mom's. So hey, that's what it is, you know. But let's
Your
dive
mom
into
should
this
be a
game
great
real quick.
example.
Yeah, let's dive into this game real quick because we got like 6 minutes to get it done. Let's go.
Let's
It's a
do it.
word game, solid. It's a word game. It's a
All
word
right.
game.
All right.
All right. I ain't gonna go extensive tonight. We gonna just get into it and we finna get it popping. Right? Okay. It's dear mama,
Mm.
woman. Word is
Hey
woman.
now. Hold on. What we saying?
You
Different
you
words?
you just saying the first word that come to your mind. My bad, I
Oh,
didn't explain it all the way.
reina.
Woman. Plain
Reina. Oh, that's
Reina.
so pretty. Queen. Oh, I love
Yeah.
uh-huh.
that.
All right.
Oh. Oh, so for me, I thought love.
Okay. Pregnancy.
Whooping.
Mhm. Soul birth.
All right. Next word, nurture.
Amazing food.
Caring.
Caring. All right. Let's go. Discipline.
Beautiful.
Hmm. Ass whooping.
Spirituality,
Prayer.
Woman.
engagement,
Marriage.
Happiness.
all right. Last word. Y'all ready? Vacation.
What?
Vacation.
Puerto Rico.
Cool.
All right. All right. Look, I use those words specifically. I use those words specifically in regards of the show and what we're talking about tonight, right? Um, and you guys have hit on so many great points tonight, so many great points tonight. And I hope everybody that's listening or watching that you take in this information and you adopt it in some way, shape, or form. Because I promise y'all, what's going to happen is we're going to change this dynamic of dysfunctional families and bring us back
Hmm.
to a place of being functional, fully functional in a healthy environment for each other and with each other. And the one key component that I believe is most important is the mother. I believe it's the mother because she is the first nurturer. She is the one that's the ride or die. When all of us out here looking for a ride or die chick, we got that from our mamas. We didn't
Fact.
get that from DMX. We got that from our mamas. Our mamas ride and die with us no matter what.
Hmm.
Now, daddy might even
Hmm.
say, look, little homie, you tripping. But
Yep.
mama is going to have your back
Yep.
throughout everything, through the ups, the downs, the stuff that she confused about, no matter what, she's unmovable. And I believe
Hmm.
when mothers recognize that it's not just about giving birth to the child, not just about feeding the child, it's about what else am I putting into this child to make them productive in society as well. Fathers, we have a job too, but we'll talk about it next month, right? But as for tonight, I really wanted to focus in on the importance and the influence of a mother and how she even impacts us even today. And we're so blessed and so privileged tonight to have Respectfully Solid here, who is his dynamic is a lot different than my dynamic. You know what I mean? And Nikki's dynamic. It's amazing to bring these three voices together and have a conversation that
That is.
really highlights a mother's true value to family. All right.
Yeah.
So I want to give you a minute or two, bro. And Nikki, want to give you a minute so y'all can tell the people where they can find you and all that good stuff like that. And then I'm gonna close us out.
For sure. For sure. For sure. Well, I'm respectfully solid. You can catch me every Tuesday streaming. I have a Bible study at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
Catch me Sunday mornings. No, no, Sunday afternoons at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I got Solid Ground. It's a show where I give each and every one of my special guests a moment to shine the light on a situation that they may have felt they hit rock bottom, but they climb right up out of it. You know what I mean? Then on Thursdays, I have our turn to talk respectfully, where it's your turn to be heard. Your opinion is never neglected, always respected. And if it's disrespected, we're going to check it. You know what I mean? And that's at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, that show right there, is to bring an effort towards beating down that barrier of improper communication between men and women. It's raw and uncut. We keep it all the way legit. So pull up, vibe with me, hit that fave if
Right.
you ain't faved me yet.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, Nikki, let the people know. I know you did at the
I
beginning,
love
but
it.
we
I
want
love
to do
it.
that at the end too.
Well, listen. Check me out tomorrow night at 11 p.m. on Empower Through History. I'm gonna have my main man right here, Solid, doing me a solid and coming through on the show. He moving and moving. He moving and shaking on the app, y'all. So get along, get
Right.
in where you could fit in. He just celebrated his 6 million. He on here being real humble. He trying to go for his future show and some other things. So make sure you hit him with the fave. As you can see, you can catch me out here. I am the admin here on Family Ties. We're trying to get this up and running, trying to get this a featured show as well. So check me out here Sundays at 10. I also go over to Legs to the Roof. That is my number one of all time. And he has a show called
Absolutely.
Streamer the Streamer. And we hop around the app and we just sit down and have a conversation, talk about some open communication. We have conversations with streamers and we get their insight, not just on streaming, but on their lives. We give you an intimate, different look at some of your favorite streamers. So check me out, 8 p.m. It's not in his live because we hop around. So you got to follow us on Instagram to see where we're going to be. Other than
Bad.
that, you want to be on Family Ties, hit me up. Um, yeah, that's it.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, wait a minute,
Absolutely.
time out. I gotta go out and say, go check out the Creative Vibe crew. They have their
Mhm.
awards tonight. I got some nominees, and I'm super excited that that even happened. So y'all make sure you go tap in with them because that's a whole ass vibe over there.
Right. Right. Again, man, shout out to y'all for pulling up tonight and having like a real conversation, man. And I appreciate real conversation, but
Yeah,
I appreciate real raw conversation even more, right?
Mm,
Because I don't believe that we can be healed from something as long as we're putting sugar in the medicine.
come on now.
You know what I'm saying?
mm,
And that's what really the focus and the aim of this show is for healing to take place and for people to be really, really, truly transformed in a way that is not made up and something that's sustainable, right?
yeah.
Facts.
But y'all know who I am. I am Wick, you know what I mean? Where wisdom is cultivated knowledge. And just please believe and understand that we are on this app to make a difference. All right.
Come
And
on.
we have fun on Friday nights. Friday night karaoke. It goes down 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come in with your stuff. Do your thing. You feel me? And I not that's why I said what I said. That's why I said what I said. but come in with your thing, man. Do your thing. Drop the mic when you leave. It don't matter as long as you come in, catch a vibe, and do the whole shebang. Then again, I'm also a part of the Thirsty Lifestyle crew, where we doing everything that we doing to like really just make this app a better place and get to know each other a whole lot better. And again, next week, I'm gonna tell y'all now, y'all don't want to miss next week's episode. It's episode 11 already. Next week, right?
Mm, mm.
Next week
Congratulations.
we gonna we're gonna
Congratulations.
have
Congratulations.
a mommy and daughter on here next week. Mommy and daughter. So y'all be peeping out on IG for the flyers and everything like that. It's going down. Family ties is going up, and we taking everybody that want to go with us. So that being said, remember you are an intricate piece of this thing that's called life, right? Without you, it is impossible for destiny to really fulfill itself. Remember that
Hello.
about yourself and know that about yourself. We love you, and it's all love. Peace. Yeah, we at the end. And I got that gold number two. I got gold two tonight. What?
Let's go.
What?
Go. Bro,
Yeah,
it was a pleasure having me for real. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
We go back a long way. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So
yeah,
this
yeah.
is a blessing to tap back in like this, you know. Nikki was the
Absolutely.
cause you've been MIA just like I've been MIA. For
Yeah,
real. You can
definitely.
get lost on the app. You can
Yeah.
get